We're a month away from training camps opening up around the league, and names like Marner, Laine, Tkachuk, Besser, Point, probably missing a million more, are without contracts for the upcoming season. So joining us to discuss it all is TVA's Renaud Lavoie. Renaud, thank you for doing this. And I immediately have to ask, are you surprised that I named only a few of the many RFAs that are waiting to sign?
Well, you know what? Not really, to be honest with you, because of a cap situation for a lot of teams. That's an issue. And, when we were at the awards, as you remember, the PA and the league decided to agree on a cap that is not going, higher than people expected. When you look at the CBA right now, 81 million cap for next season. The reality of it is when they signed that CBA in 2012, they thought that today, in 2019, the salary cap will be around close to $90 million. So there's a big gap between maybe 88, 89, 90, and what we're seeing right now at 81 millions. The revenues are not as high as they're supposed to be, or maybe as they were before they signed that last CBA in 2012, 2013. So that's the reality for a lot of teams. That's the reality for a lot of players. But that being said, I'll be shocked if, the name like Laine and Point or whoever you want to call those big guys, if they're not signed or playing the first game of the season for their respective team, I'll be shocked. It's going to happen at one point. It's just a question of how you're going to manage the cap between now and obviously the first game of the season.
Renaud, in the world of baseball, this is now becoming normalized. Having an off season where so many players of significance just sign contracts so late in the game, it's staggering. However, those are with veteran guys.
Yeah.
With players of this age and of this age group, is this that bad for the game? Because something about it to me feels, I understand the cap is the cap is the cap. This feels strange to me. How bad is this for hockey?
Well, this is an interesting situation, to be honest, because when you're looking at the big picture here, and I remember in 2012 and 2013, when you were talking to the league and even to some players, working with the PA, they were saying there'll be an issue. And the issue will be the players coming off of their rookie contract. Why it's going to be an issue? Because technically, those guys want to be paid. Normally, the guys, the Marners of this world, they were supposed to make more than what their salary was when they signed their rookie contract, right? There's a cap on those contracts. And this is an issue because after they're getting out of their rookie contract, they're saying to the world, no, I'm not going to wait to be a UFA to be paid. You're going to pay me right now. And no, I am not going to wait for a bridge contract to happen. I'm not going to wait another 2 years. It's right now. And it's understandable. Some teams did it in the past, and now it's kind of the norm. And it's an issue for teams. It's obvious, but it's a bigger issue for some UFAs right now that are not signed, that are trying to get contracts, but you know what? They're totally handcuffed. They can't do anything. One of the reasons why is we don't know where what the amount of those big guys players, those big players are going to sign in the next few weeks. So the teams are saying to the other UFAs that are not signed right now, I can't do anything. I need to wait. I need to wait to see what my cap's going to look like when the training camp's going to start, when the season's going to start. So you need to be patient. So there's a lot of UFAs right now that are still, they still have no clue of what's going to happen. And obviously it's because of those RFAs players that are not signed.
Renaud, you mentioned them being handcuffed, and that's the case, and everyone's directing it that it'll be Marner being the only domino that needs to fall in order for everyone else to determine their value. Yeah, but do you think that someone else will jump forward first, knowing they don't want to go to camp without something figured out?
Well, it's normal. I think when you think about it, you can't go to camp without any contract. That's my belief, because it's a situation where you can really hurt yourself as a player. it's hurting the team. Let's be honest here. The big picture is every GMs in this league and every coach in this league wants to have every player at training camp ready to work with everybody, because sometimes there's system change on every team. You're going to play with some new line mates. You want to be there day one, okay? And the fact that a lot of RFAs are not signed right now, it's a big issue, more maybe for the coaches and the GM, not really for those players, because they know that at the end of the day, they're going to get paid. That's the reality of the new NHL. They're not, even if you're sitting at home until December 1st, we all saw what happened last year. I mean, you can wait as long as you want. You're going to get paid. So I think the players know that. They're ready for that. And it's really more about the teams right now. They need to find ways to have those players back as soon as possible, to make sure, first of all, they'll be there for the first day of training camp. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen for a lot of those players, but they have to be there game one, because after that, it'll be a struggle for a lot of teams. And we've seen in the past, it's a struggle to get a player back, even if he didn't play for the first 2 or 3 weeks of preseason. The fact that he was not with his teammates is obviously hurting the team at one point.
Are you surprised Marc Bergevin hasn't pulled another trigger?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think it was a one-and-done situation. They identified Sebastian Aho as their guy, and it didn't work out. But they tried. I feel, and I do believe that Marc Bergevin and the Montreal Canadiens, when you look at what people were saying, they were saying that it was not a mistake, but it was obvious that the Hurricanes will match that offer. Believe me, if Marc Bergevin, and I'll say if Sebastian Aho agent thought it will be a sure shot that the Hurricanes will sign that offer sheet, they would never done an offer sheet like that. It was not a slam dunk. And I know obviously the Hurricanes are saying that it was. The reality is I don't think it was.
Is term becoming the bigger problem, Renaud? I mean, some of these kids look at the Austin Matthews deal. It says everything that needs to be said. Is that another bigger issue?
Yeah, well, it is. Obviously it is, and it's totally normal. The thing is, and what I think is so unique about pro sports is, I remember when the league said in the last lockout, we're going to limit the number of years that you can have on your contract, okay? 7 years if you're a UFA, you're signing with another team, or 8 years if you're signing an extension with your team. And everybody was kind of upset with that. Now everybody's looking at the NBA. Now everybody's saying, oh my goodness, these guys, they're getting paid big time. I shouldn't sign a 7 or 8 year contract. Maybe it's smarter and I'm going to get way more money if I'm signing a 3, 4, 5 year contract instead of the 7 or the 8 year. And it's going to be interesting to see what the next CBA is going to look like. Because suddenly, I think in the player's mind, it shifts. Before, they wanted those 10, 12-year contract. Now, I do believe that there's a lot of RFAs players that are saying to themselves, no. I'm looking at what's going on right now in the NBA. If I want to get the maximum in return every year, I need to bet on myself. And I need to make sure that I'll be ready for every year. But it needs to be a short-term contract. This way, I'll get the maximum in return in 3, 4, or 5 years instead of waiting another 7 or 8 years. And why not? I mean, and that's why I'm saying it's going to be interesting to see what the next CBA is going to look like. Other players are going to switch gear and say, hey, we want shorter contracts. We don't want the 8 year or the 7 years. We don't want that anymore. That will be a battle internally, I'm pretty sure.
Renaud, someone who's looking at big bucks is Matthew Tkachuk, and the Flames definitely up against the cap.
Yeah.
And this injury to Valimaki certainly hurts for them. So how do you see Brad Treliving going forward to try to add depth to the Flames' defensive core?
Yeah, that's another great question, because they made some moves a few days ago. And it's a battle, I feel, for a lot of teams around the league. to get those good defensemen. And that's why on July 1st, you look at the players, the defensemen that were signed. There's a lot of money, I think, that was given to some players. And it's all right. The problem that you have in this league right now is to sign defensemen, even if it's a 4, 5, or 6 defenseman, you want a guy who's going to be responsible, that's not going to hurt your team. And that comes with consistency. And to get that, you need to have, especially with the Ds, you need to wait a long time. I never seen a defenseman at 18 or 19 years old being the best defensive defenseman on his team. It doesn't happen. They have to learn the system. They have to learn how tough is it to play in this league, how quick it is to play in this league. So that's why I think there's values with defensemen that are UFAs right now because of that, because of the experience that they have. And Brad Treliving is going to try to find something, probably via trade, let's be honest. But there is some teams that are ready to trade. No doubt in my mind. Even a team like the Hurricanes made some trades involving defensemen in the last few days, last few weeks. Maybe we're going to see something bigger again involving the Hurricanes and the Flames. I'm just saying that on top of my head, but you never know what's going to happen.